Hey, I'm Owen from Square Balloon, and today I'm going to talk you through the process of building a logo. So what you can see on my screen here is a logo that was supplied by the client. They said to me, look, we want you to build us a logo. This is an idea we had. We know it's not perfect, but it's what we came up with. So from there, I guess what they're thinking we'll do is just go away and build them a nicer looking logo, maybe a nicer version of this. Without much thought or anything else involved. But that's not really the way we work. So what we actually did is we had about 3 meetings with them. So the first thing we did is we came up with this little presentation. The idea was that we're looking at the Tour de France, old school pictures obviously, and we wanted to bring some clarity around the brand proposition and work out who they are, what voice are they speaking in, who are they speaking to, who are they trying to target, and what personality should the brand have. Because if you have that at the very beginning, it's easy to be consistent, it's easy to teach your staff and your customers, this is who we are, this is how we do things. So we came up with 2 ideas. The route one was go, 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 which is Allez, Allez actually means go, go in French, which is what they shout at the cyclists, like Allez, 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 go, go, go. So we came up with this idea: coffee, cake, and cycles to make the world go round and round and round and round because the wheels keep turning, blah blah. And we came up with this image that we'd found, which had the bike with sort of coffee and cake as the wheels. So that was just something that our brand girl came up with, and then we came up with a proposition. And then we showed them our other option, which was they were like inventors, because it's not just a bike cafe they're running, they're actually going to have a workshop there as well. So we wanted to get across this idea that they were innovators and they were able to get you the type of bike that you needed for your body type and the type of work you were doing on the bike, whether it's hill climbing or racing or just casually riding, whatever it was, they would help you to get the right setup for yourself to work with you. So then we came up with this idea about inventors, and we're a bit crazy and wacky and we were innovative and all that stuff. So this was the second route that we decided on, and they liked them both, to be honest with you. So I guess we kind of ended up going down a route where we amalgamated them a bit, but mainly route 1 would probably have been the one. So this is what we ended up coming up with. This is obviously you can see a day later we'd come up with a new idea, which really just summarised it all, and we could then hand this off to our design team, because this is done by our branding expert, who doesn't need to be a designer. She just needs to understand what the customers are, who the customers are, what they look like, what they want to hear. So we go through this process as well, and we really go through defining it and then pass this to the design team, and they know, okay, this is what it looks like, this is a cafe at the moment, this is the concept, and these are the ways we're talking about, there's some ideas they liked. We love this idea of the old Tour de France posters. They were all very there weren't like too many colours in there. It was very kind of creative. Like you can see that middle poster at the bottom, that was the typefaces they'd used were all over the place. And it's pretty cool, pretty funky. The one at the bottom right, the third poster in, that was like pretty funky, that they all had like these sort of circular hands. It worked quite well with the shape of a mug or something like that. So they always had these funky things, but they were very kind of had a style, So we said, okay, we have to have a style as well. Maybe these cups could work. This was Liz getting creative, looking at cups, because they hadn't opened the cafe yet. So she was saying, oh, you could have cups like this. It could fit in well with the theme of the Tour de France type of stuff. So yep, she wrote down some mandatories that were required for the design. You have to do these things, you can't leave these out. And the idea of circles and the Tour de France and the vintage sort of look. And yeah, just some cool ideas. So I'll show you what we actually ended up designing. So this is what we came up with. So I'll talk you through a little bit about what you're seeing. So Allez, Allez, that's the name of the company, but people shout it at the cyclists as they go past. Allez, Allez, Allez. They want them to go faster. So we put it in capitals, they're shouting. And we use this font because it was very much in keeping with the Tour de France type of style of writing. A little bit of a box shadow there as well, just to make it stand out. This bar is supposed to be a coffee cup, so hopefully you can see that, but if you couldn't, now I've told you. You can see if we zoom in, what we've done here is it's supposed to be coffee cup art, so the cream of the milk that goes on the top, and it's supposed to be two A's. One's upside down, one's the right way up, so it's an A and A for LA, tying back to the theme, but also making the wheels of a bike with a guy riding the bike. So the whole idea was it was some like sort of coffee art on top of it, but it was bringing us back to the fact that we do sell coffee, but we're also a bike shop. And as you can see, the texture of the coffee is all bike parts, so cogs and wheels and spanners and all sorts in there. So that was the idea. The cyclist was supposed to be a bit abstract. If you've ever seen the Tour de France logo, you could see, in fact, I'll just pull that up quickly. The Tour de France logo is here. And you can see that it's actually got a cyclist in it, so we've borrowed a very similar type of shape so we could tie back to it, but obviously we're not making an R out of it, and the wheels and everything aren't like that for us. So going back to ours, you can see that there is definitely a play towards that, but not an identical copy and not using it in the same way. So I hope that helps you to see like the whole process behind the logo design. It wasn't simply as like the customer thought it was going to be, take this and make it look nice. And what we came out with was something quite different, but after a lot of thought and discussion, maybe 3 meetings we had with the brand, and then after that passed off to the design team, who then came up with this. Well, I really like this idea that they've come up with, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of elements in there, but I think it still looks really clean and simple, even though it's got a coffee cup, it's got bike parts, it's got coffee art, it's got a cyclist in the middle of the coffee, the Allez plays back to Tour de France and it's shouting, and all of these different elements, but they all came together from the original defining of the brand, defining of the audience, defining of the company and the people in the company. Andy and Darren are real characters, real happy fellas. I think this really tied it in with their personality as well. And obviously the yellow is the leading jacket from Tour de France is yellow, so that was where the colour came from. So yeah, after we did this, we present to the customer, but we also show some ideas. So we got a Google Maps of the front of the shop, and we put the signs on there just so they could see what potentially it could look like. I think we did a mock-up of a t-shirt so they could see what that would look like potentially. We did a mock-up of a coffee cup with the artwork on it, the cream art, so it's not the best thing in the world, but we had a go at it and they could see what it would look like potentially. Andy promised us that he was going to learn how to do this. I'm not sure if he's ever quite achieved it. It looks quite technical to me, but it would be cool if he had. But and also a variant of the logo. So this was just a horizontal one, because on the website we felt like the vertical one wouldn't have worked so well, so we had an alternate version. And then we ended up making this in CMYK versions for print, and also in the RGB versions for web. So they had enough flexibility there. We made an SVG version as well for the website, so that it would never lose quality, no matter if you're on mobile or a high retina screen, really powerful screens. So yeah, it all came together. It was a very technical solution by the end. Customer got everything they needed, and we were very happy with the outcome, and so were they. So I hope it takes you through just one of our logo design processes, but I'll show you some of the others that we've made. Not all of them require, if the customer's on a budget, we can't take you through the whole brand process, but probably that is the ultimate way of doing it, the correct way of doing it, which gets you, at the end of the day, an asset which is an ownable asset. It's yours, it's unique to you, it's very much tied to the company and what you mean and the values, and if you ever sell the company in the future, you've got something that has value behind it, and that as an asset, and that contains extra wealth when you sell a company. All the big companies will be doing something like this, but fortunately we are able to work with smaller companies as well, because we really do get a lot of pleasure from that. So hopefully you understand now the journey from giving us an idea that they come up with, to getting our professional team involved and working through to having a nice clean design at the end, and the value that comes with that. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Please subscribe if you liked it. If you want more examples of logo processes we've done, please just comment. If you'd like to know more about how we design websites and the process we follow for that, please do comment. I'm really big on processes and making sure things have consistency. I think that's the way you get consistent value and quality. But yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback on the logo. Thanks for watching.